I was standing in front of all these people in my wedding dress, across from a tree in a tux. Don't worry, I felt as dumb as it looked. My face was burning hot. I could hear people laughing at me. I thought about myself bending down to lock lips with a leaf, and oh man, how the hell had my life gotten here? Well, let's rewind a bit. Hi, my name is Chi Chi, and I know what you're thinking. Was he hot? But seriously, yeah, you read the title right. I married a tree, like legally. And no, I'm not entirely crazy, just a little bit desperate. You see, my family is loaded. My grandma makes Bill Gates look like a hobo. Growing up, that was always something to look forward to. Based on the boring legal papers that were drawn up, every kid in my family has been set to get a ton of cash the minute they turn 20. I was stoked because honestly, there was no way in hell I'd be able to make that much on my own. My brother is a year older than me, and when I saw what happened to him when he got his inheritance, my mind was blown. He went from a crappy car to a luxury car worth a $500 million. He moved out of his dinky dorm and got a friggin' mansion. Don't get me started on the girls that were suddenly all over him. I mean, I know he's my brother, but I'm definitely the one that got the looks. I didn't really have that plan with my money. I mean, I wanted to blow a little of it because, honestly, who wouldn't? But my real goal was kind of lame. I wanted to open a bakery. I was going to take that money, get a bakery, get a nice little house, and then just live every day like a character in a stupid rom-com. Sounds pretty sweet, right? Yeah, I sure thought so. But when I turned 20, I found out my grandma sure didn't think so. I woke up that morning actually glowing. I felt like $1 billion. Probably because I was about to get that handed to me. I showed up at her house and asked for my money. This evil friggin' woman laughed in my face. Like, I get that she's my grandma, but I wanted to deck her in her wrinkly old face. Like, you're kidding me, right? In her crotchety, chain-smoking old voice, she told me, "You're not getting that money until you're married, honey. I can't have you going out and spending the money on the things little floozies spend their money on." I am sorry, little floozies? Did my grandma just call me a... Not that you're a total floozy, hun. Great. So my grandma didn't think I was a total I lashed out at her, telling her it was super unfair my brother got his inheritance. You know what she had the nerve to say? "He's a man. He can handle his money on his own. You need a man." He can handle his money? I saw him buy a diamond-studded athletic cup last week. Are you kidding me? So, I did just what you would expect. I went off on Grandma. I went to town, calling her sexist, calling her old, telling her it was a dumb rule, and that he shouldn't always be the favorite just because of the crap hanging between his legs. That's when she tells me if I'm not married by the end of the week, I'm done. No money. Ever. You know that moment when you've realized you've crossed the line and your blood runs cold? Yeah. I had run a couple of miles past that line and my entire body was frozen. She made me sign a contract. I didn't know what to do. Stand by my principles or get money. Obviously, I chose money. I'm not dumb. So, unfortunately, the hunt for my husband began. Naturally, it began where most marriages do, at a bar. But holy crap, I've never hated anything more in my life. Do you ever want to see pathetic? Go to a bar and sit alone. I've never seen more creepy guys in my life. You know how many guys walked up to me and said, "Where have I seen your gorgeous face before?" I mean, come on! Or how about, "If I buy you a drink, will I get dessert?" I couldn't do it. I went home. I bought some mozzarella sticks and sat in my crappy apartment and watched my bakery-owning dreams take a nosedive out the window. I put on some reality TV to drown my sorrows, and that's when I saw it. A woman who married a roller coaster. Legally. She blabbered on and on about how they were in love, and she got a real marriage certificate to back up her claims. Obviously, this woman was friggin' insane. But as I went to change the channel, I realized a marriage is a marriage. So I strolled down to the supermarket to pick myself up a husband. In a pair of fuzzy slippers, no makeup, and no bra, I found him. A dinky little lemon tree sapling in a pot. There was something pathetic about it that I loved, I guess. So I bought him and took him to the courthouse. I had to do this before I got some sense knocked into me. When I went up to the window and demanded a marriage license, I thought I was going to be tossed into a straitjacket and wheeled away that instant. The person behind the counter blinked at me and reached for the phone like she was about to call the police. I told her I was serious. She didn't stop reaching. I'll speak to your manager and get you fired if you don't give me it. I don't know where it came from. Had I suddenly become a mean, middle-aged Karen of a person? That must have done it, because she started filling out the forms. She asked for his name, and I blurted out the first thing I could think of. Lemon-y. Lemony? She asked, rolling her eyes. Don't say my husband's name that way, I barked. Maybe I would play the possessive, crazy wife role like a champ. I left with the marriage certificate in tow and went straight to my grandmother's, Lemony in the passenger seat. I slapped the license down and told her to pay up. She asked where the heck my husband was, and I motioned to Lemony. You would have thought I had told the meanest joke on earth. She scowled at me, gritting her teeth, and rolled her eyes. Don't tell me you've lost your mind, she snapped. I was, but with good reason. I told her I really loved Lemony and his strong branches. God, it sounded so dumb. But when Grandma looked at the contract we had signed, the truth crashed down on her. Marriage certificate equals money, and I had a marriage certificate. She slid a check across to me. You guys, that's the moment I won the lottery. I thought of all the things floozies spend money on, and I started writing my list. New outfits? Check. New stilettos high enough to break my neck in? Check. New house? Check. New hot tub? Damn right. I didn't even sleep. I ran around buying all the things I hadn't been able to over the next few days. This is what real living felt like. I tucked Lemony in a closet and went out to make my dreams reality. When I found the building that was gonna be my bakery, I wanted to sob. Finally, I was going to have the life that I'd always wanted. I hadn't even spent an eighth of the money. I was going to have a business. I was going to be able to do what I loved for a living. Everything was falling into place. That's what I thought. Until I noticed the black car behind me. I went to the mall. It was there. I went to a Tinder date's house. It was there. I started driving miles and miles in circles to see if they were still there. One day, I couldn't do it anymore. Were they the mob? Some thugs? Some creep from high school? I drove down an alley and cornered the car, asking who it was. I rushed to the car and banged on the windows, asking who it was. Honestly, I felt cool as hell. I felt like a spy in a movie. A bad one, but still a spy. The man put his hands up. I glanced at his badge. It read, fraud assessment. That was all I needed. Of course they were fraud assessment. My marriage was a friggin' fraud. The man told me I had a week and it wasn't looking good. My husband was sitting in a closet, rotting. On the drive home, I passed by the bakery. The realization that I could lose my money, that I could lose the bakery, my entire dream, it was too much. So I did what any absolutely insane person would. I started taking the lemon tree out with me. We went out to dinner. Lemony sat across from me in front of people. I could see people whispering. It took every fiber of my being to hold my tongue, to resist telling them off, but I knew I couldn't. I had to act in love, so I caressed the leaves. I wanted to throw myself